Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome. I don't have a follow-up line here, so I'm going to restart. Jesus Christ. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the inaugural episode here, brought to you by somewhat of a local celebrity, your boy, Chad Too Bad. Wrestling Universe Talks. That's the name. I'm sticking with it. What if you want it short? Alright. So, my dogs don't really care for it. We're going to move right into this. Today we are going to be... God damn it. Shut up! Pat, Scrappy, get out the window. Okay. One more again. Okay. What's up, everybody? Somewhat of a local celebrity here. Today, I'm bringing you the first ever inaugural episode of Wrestling Universe Talks. We're going to sit down, we're going to review shows, we're going to talk about behind the scenes, we're going to talk about rumors, we're going to talk about facts, we're going to mark out a little bit every now and again, and it's going to be great. Some might even say that it's going to be phenomenal. We'll find out in the future. Today, we are going to be covering the men's, well, the entirety actually, the Money in the Bank 2019 pay-per-view a whole. The men's, the women's, everything that happened, the goods, the bads, my opinions. I want to hear your opinions in the comments. So let's get right into it here, as it was quite the spectacle. So we started out the night with the pre-show. You would have assumed that we would do the cruiserweight title on the pre-show, but no, that's not how it's going down. Those are terrible. That's awful. That's ridiculous. Okay, I'm just gonna go out of this. That's ridiculous. You would think that the cruiserweight title was what was defended, but no, not at all. We got the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan. Now, mad props has to go out to Rowan for the Slipknot shirt he was rocking. That was awesome. If you didn't like Rowan's Slipknot shirt, you're probably an asshole. So that's just the way that goes. The Usos went over DB and Rowan. However, they did not win the titles. So apparently the match wasn't for the titles. I don't even know why they bother giving people titles anymore. The other week they came out to the ring, they didn't even have the titles with them. Finn Balor came down to the men's Money in the Bank, he didn't even have the title with him. I don't see why any titles are even being used in WWE anymore. They're a goddamn joke. After that, we got, of course, as was predicted by pretty much everyone, the women's Money in the Bank match. The women's Money in the Bank honestly didn't go as bad as I thought that it would go. I thought it would be much worse than what we got. They didn't kill each other, but there was a lot of biffs. There was a lot of missed spots, and there was a moment where everyone was supposed to like sandwich Naomi between some ladders, and of course it was just a spot for her to do the splits like she likes to do. And they stood there paused for a really long time. For some reason, Naomi was dressed up as a bumblebee. I didn't completely understand her outfit nor what direction or message she was trying to send there. All in all, the match, honestly, I thought it was okay. A lot of weird spots. I'm not sure what happened with, what's her name? Carmella. Mella is Money. She had that weird stunt where I'm not sure if she really hurt her leg or if it was all a work, or maybe she thought that she tweaked it, went in the back, and the doctor was like, nah, you're good. Get back out there. We need you out there because, WWE don't give a shit about their wrestlers. They proved that with CM Punk. Uh, so they sent her back out there. Nikki Cross had a good run in the match. Not sure why she was there. It seems like maybe Alexa's still injured or something. I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. Honestly, I don't really care that much. Bailey ended up being the winner for the night after Sonya Deville got involved and tried to more or less carry Mandy Rose to the top of the ladder, and then she sort of stopped and like sat her up. Like, now you have to stand up. You got to stand up and win it yourself now. Even though, you know, as we've learned in years prior, like the James Ellsworth situation, couldn't she have just handed her the damn thing? Shouldn't she have just climbed up there with her on her back and just snatched it up? No less. Once they got up there, okay, so sorry about that. Let's see here. Where was I? As Mandy Rose was being carried up, Sonya Deville for some reason stopped, sat her up, and then she went to grab it. And when she went to grab it, Bailey was just up, no sold anything that happened to her that night. Was up the ladder in about 2 seconds, staring her in the face, and she just kind of gave her a push, the push down. She gave her the Vince McMahon hand, and down to the mat. Mandy and Sonya both fell. Pretty lame, to be honest with you. There was a lame payout, and then Bailey won the match. The crowd seemed to like it. People seem to like Bailey still. I am no longer on the Bailey train. Bailey was cool at first. I loved her in NXT. We want some Bailey. Now that was my shit. Nowadays, they don't know how to use her. This whole hugger thing is terrible. She's needed a heel turn for at least a good 6 to 8 months. What do we have next? My order is I'm probably a little out of order along the way here, but next up, I do believe, was Joe versus Mysterio. Samoa Joe got busted open almost immediately. As soon as the match started, Joe was busted open, and I'm pretty sure that's why we got such a short match right there. I don't think that match was supposed to be that short originally. I think word came in when Joe was just leaking, pissing out of his face blood. That just end the match. Call it. We can't have this. Vince is still really against the blood. From what I understand, Fox wants a PG-14 show. Not just the PG show. They want a higher rating, a better product, like we all do. So at some point, Vince is gonna have to accept it. Guys are gonna have to bleed or do something here. Like you can't get by on this pansy nonsense and doing the same thing every week and expect it to keep working. The ratings show it's not working, guys. So again, we got a really short match. Joe went for a power bomb. Mysterio rolled him up. 1, 2, 3. Mysterio's your new United States champion. That belt flopping around the way that it has in these really short matches, I truly think that this is going to be a result in screwing the whole thing up, to be honest with you. My reasoning for that is the belt has no prestige if you just move it around constantly. So when they, every single pay-per-view and every other week, just throw the belt onto another random damn person, they're destroying the prestige of that belt because no one holds it. It seems like all your champions kind of suck. You don't want that for your guys, so you can put body oil on now. That's hilarious. That's awesome, actually. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm making a demon, just so you guys know, an actual demon, not Finn Balor. There will be another video explaining scrambles the Death Dealer, his origins, and where all that comes from. Dominic came down to the ring as Joe was beating up Mysterio. We still didn't get a Samoa Joe's choking out Dominic moment, which at this point, I don't know how anyone else feels, but I personally am losing interest in watching young Dominic get choked out. At first, I was like, hell yeah, choke his ass out, son. This is going to be great. But now it's gone on for so damn long that it's like, do I even give a shit anymore? So we need to get that underway. Next up, we had Miz versus Shane in a cage match. Now, the Miz dominated the match pretty well the entire damn time. A chair was introduced. At one point, there was an awkward moment where the Miz hit Shane with a skull-crushing finale onto the chair, and then he went for the pin, which you're probably thinking, okay, what happened then? Well, then Shane put his foot on the rope. I'm a little agitated at this even as I talk. And the ref just sort of decided that it was a rope break for the pin. I don't even understand the goddamn rules to a cage match anymore. I hate the cage match. I've always hated the cage match. You can't get a good camera angle on a cage match, and the match sort of just sucks. Nowadays, they just open the fucking door for you. You're on the ground, crawling, and they'll just open the door. You just waltz right out the door. It's no problem. Back in the day, you had to climb out of the goddamn cage. The first person to climb out and their feet successfully touched the ground won the match. I once saw a match where Big Show threw Stone Cold through the entirety of the side of the cage. It flung open. He fell down. Everyone was completely content with that because he got out of the cage and his feet touched the goddamn ground. This is not... You shouldn't even be able... There should be no referee inside of the ring. The ref's just in the goddamn way. There should be no pinfall submission. A cage match, you win by climbing out of the fucking cage. That's how it works. No less... Let me see here. I've never actually created a character on here before. I should be upfront about that. No less... Shane was climbing out. The big spoiler on this match was that there was going to be a coast-to-coast from the top of the cage. I had my personal doubts. That's a really hard mat to be falling on like that, especially at Shane's age. So, of course, he did not do a coast-to-coast, which wasn't a shock to me. It would have been cool to see, sure, but did not come as any form of shock, in my opinion. At the end, Miz was acting like he was going to hit him with a suplex, and as Miz was setting up the suplex there, Shane's sweaty ass, he was dripping sweat by this point, just slipped out of his t-shirt, fell down to the ground, and won the match. So now the Miz is lost to Shane a second time in their storyline. I'm sure that they're still going to drag it out until the Saudi Arabia show for no apparent reason at all. But I'm sure that will happen, and we'll end up watching that. And I'm assuming that The Miz will go over Shane then, but who knows? Next up, oh, this was great. Sami Zayn was clearly attacked by Batman backstage. The manner in which he was hung upside down, I've seen this all before. That was clearly an attack by Batman. So Sami Zayn was out. Braun Strowman was asked to exit the building. All of that was kind of lackluster. Strowman, they pimp Strowman like he's so strong, but then Triple H walks up to him and he's like, hey, leave the building. And Strowman's like, okay, I'll leave the building. And just leaves. And that's it for Strowman. Next up, we had Tony Nese versus Nari Daivari. Nari Daivari came out in a car. It was pretty lame. Didn't understand why they did all that. I thought that it could have been a lot cooler without the car. No less, that's what happened there. Tony Nese and him definitely should have been on the pre-show. I have no idea why they weren't. I'm assuming because they didn't want Daniel Bryan and Rowan to defend their titles yet. So they simply just did them on the pre-show and did it just a standard a standard match, and that killed it all. But it sucks for someone like, say, Buddy Murphy, who put on great matches on the pre-show pretty much every single pay-per-view, but always got slapped to the pre-show. And you can pretend like, oh, well, it's still the pay-per-view. It's not. It's not. Don't lie to me. I watch wrestling religiously. That shit ain't. No. Fuck out of here with that. So that match was not very good at all, to be honest with you. I was unimpressed the entire time. I don't care for either of those guys. I don't think they're all that great. And the match definitely could have been better if, say, Buddy Murphy was in it. Next up, we had Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. Becky beat Lacey, which was pretty well to be expected. It's far too early in what's her name, Lacey's career for her to be winning the title, so I'm not at all surprised that she did not win the title there. She got her in a pin. Becky rolled her up into the disarmer. She tapped almost immediately. It was yet again very lackluster. Oh, those are some good horns. Those are good horns. I was unimpressed by that match. To be honest with you, it kind of bored me. It was apparent that Becky was holding back for her match with Charlotte. That was clear as day. She needed something left in the tank to put on that match. And then as Becky was trying to leave, Charlotte came out and they kind of played the, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. The hell you didn't. We all knew this was going to happen. I, sitting here, in no way questioned if it was going to happen or not going to happen. It was clear Charlotte was going to come out immediately. Charlotte and Becky put on a decent match, but at the end of the day, it's kind of boring because we've all seen the match. How many times? How many goddamn times have we seen those two fight? Like, get me some new contenders. At least Becky and Lacey was refreshing because Lacey Evans and Becky, they haven't fought before. That was a good match to watch, but I am so sick and goddamn tired of seeing Becky and Charlotte fight. I would rather see Becky fight anyone on the planet but Charlotte again. No less, that was what we got. We get what Vince gives us. Charlotte beat Becky at the end of it all there. Not too shocking there. But at that point, Charlotte and... why on earth? Okay. Charlotte and Lacey started beating up Becky there. Bayley came out, helped fight them off, and then Becky took out Charlotte and beat her. Now, maybe I'm confused. Maybe this was just like WWE was just changing all of their rules on this night. But to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong here, people, but the person who is challenging is supposed to wait till the person that they're challenging gets to their feet. Charlotte never got to her feet at all. She just like hit her with an elbow drop, and the ref counted it 1, 2, 3. It was a pretty stupid match, but I guess Bayley's champion, and people seem to like that. That's something new, so we can thank ourselves for that. Elias came up behind Roman, hit him in the back with a guitar, and then came out to the ring and cut a promo with an electric guitar. That was pretty cool. I thought he cut a good promo there. But then as he was leaving after his legendary pose, that shit was amazing. After his legendary pose, Roman came out, Superman punched him, threw him in the ring, hit him with a spear, and it was over 1, 2, 3. I think the match lasted 9 seconds is what's being reported. Complete waste of time. Could have just been completely taken off the entirety of the damn bill. Lucha House Party came out randomly. I didn't understand why that was happening until Lars Sullivan came out. At that point, I wrote it off as not a match, but a Lars Sullivan promo. I don't like the guy. Haven't liked him since NXT. I don't think they're going to be able to sell him. He's just a big dude who screams a lot. That's it. Like any other big dude, he's going to go halfway up the ladder, and then he's going to fall flat on his ass, just like they did with, say, Braun Strowman, who got screwed yet again. So Lars came out, did away with Lucha House Party, blah, blah, blah. AJ and Seth put on a good match. They had a good match, which was much to be expected. You kind of knew going into that they were going to do a good job. I mean, they're both phenomenal wrestlers, so it's kind of like, yeah, of course they had a great match. At the end of it, Seth beat AJ. AJ did hit Seth with an amazing reversal from the stomp into the Styles Clash, and it was really good. I would say that move was probably the highlight of the night a whole. It was pretty awesome there. Next up, we got Kofi versus Kevin Owens. Now this match, I felt that a lot was riding on this match because you can't have a guy win. It's like the United States title, what I was ranting about before. You can't have a guy win and have him immediately damn lose. In my opinion, I know Vince does not like Kofi. He's not sold on him. He's probably never going to be. He's never wanted to push him. I'm guessing he's giving him a little bit of a push right now so that Kofi can retire with some dignity. We all know that day's coming soon. And I think that's the reason that he was even given the title to begin with. However, him and Owens had a pretty damn good match. Owens is another guy who pretty well always puts on a good match, and honestly, so does Kofi. So not a big shock that those two put on a tremendous match there. Great to watch. At the end of it, thankfully, thank God in heaven, Kofi came away as champion, as he should be, to signify that he is championship material and to go away from this B-plus rating storyline that they got him in, which is just fucking insulting to the man to goddamn begin with. Kofi is a phenomenal wrestler. He's a tremendous athlete. He can speak better than I can. The man deserves a lot more goddamn respect than what he's been given in the WWE for years and years and years and years. So it's great that Kofi retained that title, because that does give him a good, solid standing there. I think, honestly, Kofi will probably keep it through the Saudi show and drop after that. Could be wrong, though. You never know. Vince McMahon is out of his goddamn mind. Next up was the grand finale. The grand finale. The main event. The big one. Didn't take too long to find out why it was the main event. Because somebody's bitch ass doesn't like to be anywhere on the card except very last. So, we got started with the men's Money in the Bank. It was honestly a good match. Drew McIntyre was tearing boys up in a phenomenal way. All in all, it was good. Balor had some good spots. At one point, Andrade Cien powerbombed. He did a sunset powerbomb over the ladder, grabbing Finn Balor and powerbombing him onto another ladder. But the ladder was like shoved into the ladder that was standing up. And it like got pushed back, and the ladder sort of fell down. And when Balor came down, he powerbombed his ass so damn hard that he bounced back off the ladder into the air and back down on the ladder again. And then after that, he was repeatedly just slammed onto ladder after ladder after ladder. I think it was either Corbin or McIntyre. Somebody had a ladder like sat on its side, and they just like spine busted him right on the top of it. It was devastating. It was absolutely fucking brutal, and I don't know why they made poor Finn Balor go through all that. I was disappointed that Ricochet never got a good spot. Like Ember Moon got a great spot in their match where she hit an eclipse off a ladder in the outside, jumping into the ring. She got a good amount of distance. It was pretty impressive. At first, I was not impressed with it, but the more replays and such that I've seen of it, it was a really impressive move, and she deserved her props for that. But Ricochet got no spot. If he had a big spot, I sure as hell didn't see it. I must have missed it. If anyone recalls Ricochet's big spot, feel free to leave that in the comments on this video, but I sure as hell don't remember that spot. So then, what's his name? Mustafa Ali was climbing up the ladder at the end, looked to be home free, and then music hit. What do you know? Why didn't it save that handle? And at first, because, I mean, let's be honest, the guy shows up so rarely, I didn't even recognize the goddamn music. But quickly I realized, oh, it's the crusher of all souls and dreams and work ethic, Brock Lesnar, who swiftly came down to the ring and just sort of he was running so fast that he knocked a damn ladder over into the camera guy's face. Probably hit somebody in the crowd too. WWE probably had to come up off some t-shirts and shit for that one, cause he hit him good. That was some bullshit, and that's another reason why honestly Lesnar shouldn't even be talked about or called to the game. He's an asshole. He's only in business for himself. He doesn't even show up. I get Vince writes it that way, but Vince is a fucking idiot for doing so. There's no reason to have a world champion that's never there, who, in Roman's words, can't show up for work. So Brock comes down, swiftly just knocks a ladder into a cameraman's face. Damn poor cameraman. We all pity you, sir. And then he just knocked Mustafa Ali off the ladder. Mustafa Ali came down, hit his face hard on the rope. Hard on that rope. And when he caught the rope, it must have busted him open, because you saw him a little while later laying outside the ring, and he was bleeding pretty good. He was bleeding pretty good. So then Lesnar just went right up the damn ladder, took the briefcase. Lesnar is now your winner. He's Mr. Money in the Bank. Even though he wasn't in the goddamn match, he somehow won the match. So I don't understand how that works, but you know, as is Vince McMahon's mind, an anomaly to us all. So we now have Brock Lesnar as Mr. Money in the Bank, even though we were teased for like a week and all night long that Strowman was going to somehow be involved with the match. I suppose when he was asked to leave the building, we were just expected to believe that. It's wrestling, so I assumed, haha, this is proper motivation for him to come to the ring and just fuck everybody up and take the damn thing, and this is going to be great for him. He might even finally get his big push. Nope. I was wrong yet again. Out of nowhere, who is it? Is it Bray Wyatt and his rip-off little Ronald McDonald fucking Pee-wee's Playhouse bullshit? No, it isn't Bray Wyatt making his big triumphant return. It's Brock goddamn Lesnar, the guy who couldn't show up for work when he was the champion, and since he's never there, what's the point of giving him the briefcase? It's like, oh, well, looming in the background is Brock Lesnar was probably on a plane 2 hours after that on his way back to Canada, because he doesn't give a shit about wrestling. He doesn't care about the title. He doesn't care about that company. He only cares about himself and his money. So that was the outcome of it all. In all, I would only give the pay-per-view maybe 2.5, possibly 3 stars. Probably just 2.5, because the winners weren't very good out of 5. No matches really particularly stood out. AJ and Seth was good, but it felt watered down. Brock Lesnar wasn't even in the damn match, and he won. All in all, I would say Money in the Bank gets a 2.5 out of 5-star rating. At least we can all rest assured and sleep well at night knowing that AEW is around the corner. Our saviors are here. Saturday, Double or Nothing, the 25th, that's going to be legendary. It's going to be great. I cannot wait for that. There's more build-up and hype for that, in my opinion, than Money in the Bank, and WWE has a weekly episodic show. Every time I watch it, I fast-forward through half of it. No less, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. There will be more to come here on Wrestling Universe Talks. What? If you're not into the full name, just a short what? W.U.T. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am somewhat of a local celebrity. Chad, too bad. Yeah, follow me if you like this. Like my video. Subscribe to my channel. Comment. Let me know what you think.